We will have a little grace period here in this first class and first division in each ring. However, once we get started, we will not hold classes up to wait for you in the holding ring. You will need to be on time for your divisions. So once we get started, make sure you follow along and be to the holding ring on time. What do you think, Larry? We're, we're only bringing, we're only, here, do you want this clipboard? I'm not moving around, so you just take that. What do you need, hon? Well, we don't have an east ring. We've got a north ring and a south. Are you in intermediate? You're 11, so you're in the juniors, and you'll be at the last end of the juniors, okay? Well, now, there's two heats of those 11-year-olds. What's your name, hon? You said Mabry? Sutton? There you are. You're in the last class. Yeah, but you're going to be in the second class of 11-year-olds, okay? Yes, on that ring, hon. We're going to make that final call for Class 1F in our intermediate division, which is on the north side. We are going to get started. Going to make that final call for the 6 and 7-year-olds. If you are not in the ring, we are getting ready to bring them into the class. You need to be in the ring at this time. Final call for the 6 and 7-year-old division in the south ring. Final call for the first class of 12-year-olds, 1-F class in the north ring. Larry, we're 5 minutes late. If they're not here, I'd say let's roll. Greg Ahart. And it's Cal, right? Cal Whittington. Okay. In our south ring, we are now bringing in our 6 and 7-year-old division in this ring. We do only have one heat of class for the 6 and 7-year-olds. We're going to make that first call for our 8-year-old division in the south ring. First call for our 8-year-old division in the south ring. We are currently showing our 6 and 7-year-old division in the south ring. If you would, in our 12-year-old ring, in our intermediate 12-year-old ring, we are now bringing in Class 1F, our first heat of 12-year-old showmen. They are showing in our north ring. We'll make that first call for Class 2F, our second heat of 12-year-old showmen. First call in our north ring for Class 2F, our 12-year-old showman. I don't know how. I don't. We do want to welcome everybody to the 52nd Annual North American Livestock Exposition. We're currently showing our Market Lamb Showmanship, and we do want to welcome our judge in our south ring, Greg Ahart from Sacramento, California. If you would, let's please give a big Midwest welcome to Greg Ahart for helping us with our junior showmanship today. In our north ring, we want to welcome our judge for our intermediate division, Mr. Nick Infield from Maxwell, Iowa. If you would, let's show our appreciation for Nick and give him a big round of applause for being with us today. We're going to make that final call for Class 2F in our 12-year-old division. If you are in that second heat, 2F in our 12-year-old division, you need to be in the holding ring at this time. Second and final call for Class 2F in our 12-year-old second heat. If you would, let's show our appreciation to the young people in that first heat of 12-year-olds and put our hands together for the great job that they did in our first division. At this time, we are bringing in 2F into our north ring, which is our second heat of 12-year-olds. In our north ring, our second class of 12-year-olds are now entering the ring. At the conclusion of this heat, we will pick our top 10 12-year-old showmen. We will need those 5 contestants ringside and ready that were taken from our first class. in our north ring. Let's show our appreciation to the young people around the rail as we dismiss those from the second heat, and we'll bring in our top 5 from each heat for our first through 10 in our 12-year-old division. Again, put your hands together for a great division. Ladies and gentlemen, as we dismiss this very large and extremely competitive 6 and 7-year-old division, let's show our appreciation to these young people by putting your hands together. We are now showing our final drive of our 12-year-old division in the north ring. We are currently bringing in our final drive for our 12-year-old division in the north ring. We're going to make that first call for the first heat of 13-year-olds. We are going to make the first call for the first heat of the 13-year-olds, and that is Class 1G. So if you are in the first heat and you are in Class 1G, you need to check in at the holding ring. We're going to make that final call for Class B in the south ring, our 8-year-olds. All our 8-year-old contestants should be in the holding ring at this time. You should be in the north or the south holding ring for Showmanship if you are an 8-year-old in Market Lamb Showmanship. Final call for Class B 8-year-olds in the south ring. We are now bringing in our 8-year-old division into our south ring. Our 8-year-olds are now entering the south ring. Our results of our 6- and 7-year-old division. Our champion goes to Brinley Newcomb. Second, and our reserve champion goes to Corbin Reppy. Third goes to Lakeland Newcomb. Fourth, Caden Asmus. Fifth, Raylan Sheehan. Sixth, Addison Herman. Seventh, Gracie Griffith. Eighth, Kaylee Florence. Ninth, Nash Holly. And 10th goes to Baylor Daniel. Those are the results of our 6- and 7-year-old division.
Really good set of intermediates, and I'll tell you, this division is incredibly tough and deep. And I told all the kiddos down here in the bottom 5 that you know, this is splitting hairs. 1 to 10 is very minor differences. So don't get discouraged. You made it to top 10, and I think a very tough division. The young lady that wins for me, I think just what she does so good is she's so smooth, and she understands in terms of her body placement, her hands relative to that one's jawline and skull is almost perfect all the time. The only critique I'd have for you is just watch your alignment on the profile. I know sometimes you want to kick his hip out, which I'm good with that, but sometimes we'll catch him with his hip in, and that's probably the biggest critique I have of you. But leg placement, that thing's weight distribution all the time is spot on. She never let him lean. He never got over his knee. I think just a really consistent, solid job there on the top end. Young lady does a really good job. Young lady coming second, you know, for me, I think it was really close. And at the end, and this is where it really starts to sort, as she wants to, this is ULAM 2, wants to get a little closed up right in the base of her chest. And so for me, is just understanding the faults of some of these sheep and trying to show that out of them. And we caught that one getting closed up in her chest right at the end, and she wanted to just lean on her a little bit. But in terms of hand placement, managing that one's neck and head and proportionality and keeping that one's weight distributed correctly and hind leg locked in, I thought she did a really good job the entire time. Young lady coming with a south down looking sheep, I told her she does a really good job, and she was a little nervous, I think, in class right at the beginning, and we talked about that just a second, but does a really good job. I told her she just needed to grip that one's jaw just a hair better and keep his weight back, and we just got to get a little bit more drive out of him. Mechanics-wise, she does a phenomenal job. Where that sheep is positioned on her body, I think she does a great job. We just got to get a little bit more drive and manage that one's skull a little bit better. Young lady coming next, I said she does a really good job. Again, mechanics are flawless. Where she needs to be on the front of that sheep is great. We just need to get that one to drive uphill. Every now and again, he wants to kind of drop his front end down and drop his chest and just kind of run downhill on us. And I don't know if that's the sheep or the helpers back in the back need to find her a taller fronted one, but she does a great job. We just got to get that one to go uphill. Her mechanics are on point. We just got to get that one to run uphill on us just a little bit better, but great job out of her. Young lady coming last with this blue one here in 5th, and this blue one, I told her she probably of the top 5 does the best job in my opinion, and I think it's really important to get him to run uphill. We just got to manage that one a little bit. He wants to lean a little bit, and I think every now and again, if we can grip that one's jawline and get his weight back, it'll help his spine settle down in him just a touch, and we manage some of those front end issues. But mechanics on point. We just got to manage that one's jaw and spine. I think we get up a little higher. Great set of intermediates. Give them a round of applause.
At this time in our north ring, our class that is entering is Class 1G, our first division of our 13-year-old division. We're going to make that first call for our 9-year-olds on the south ring. If you are a 9-year-old, we're making your first call for the south ring, Class 3, to the holding ring. If you are in the 13-year-old division, we are now entering the ring with Class 1G, our first class of 13-year-old heat. If you are in heat 2 of the 13-year-olds, we're going to make that first call to the holding ring, and that is Class 2G. We're going to make that first call for the second heat of 13-year-olds, Class 2G in the north ring. Our results in our 12-year-old division, our champion goes to Presley Johnson. Our reserve goes to Adeline Gilliott. Third goes to Landry Kruger. Fourth goes to Stella Anthauer. Fifth goes to Harper Horning. Sixth goes to Andy Swab. Seventh goes to Emma Teckett. Eighth goes to Miley Solly. Ninth goes to Harper McClure. And 10th goes to Gina Gibson. If you would, as we dismiss that first heat of 13-year-olds, let's put our hands together and show our appreciation for the hard work they've done as they leave the ring. We are now bringing in our second heat of 13-year-olds, Class 2G in our north ring. Now entering our north ring is our second heat of 13-year-olds, Class 2G. Going to make that first call for Class 3G in our 13-year-olds. You need to be in the holding ring. Our third heat, Class 3G in our 13-year-olds, you need to be headed to the holding ring. If you are a 9-year-old and you are in Market Lamb Showmanship, you need to be in the holding ring at this time. Going to make that last call for 9-year-old showman to the holding ring in our south ring. If you would, as we get that second division in our 13-year-olds sorted, let's show our appreciation to the young people that have come into the second heat of our 13-year-olds as they leave the ring. We are now bringing in Class 3G, our third division of 13-year-olds in the North Ring at this time. At the conclusion of this class, we will need the 10 young exhibitors that have been selected for our final drive for our 13-year-olds at the conclusion of this heat in the North Drive. We do want to throw a warning shot out here to all our champion and reserve champion exhibitors. We will show for an overall division. So in our junior division, we will bring the champion and reserve from the 6 and 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, and 11-year-olds for an overall junior champion. So you need to be on standby at the completion of the 11-year-old division. In the intermediate division, we will have a champion overall with those champion and reserves from our 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old, and 15-year-old divisions. We are currently bringing in our 9-year-old Showman to the south ring. Our champion in our 8-year-old division goes to Maddox Thompson. Our reserve goes to Cagney Kraft. Third goes to Avery Kramer. Fourth goes to Aylin Nyer. Fifth goes to Reese Eller. Sixth goes to Emma Ratliff. Seventh goes to Brayson Walpe. Eighth goes to Madeline Trammell. Ninth goes to Hannah Taylor. And 10th goes to Ellie Schaufer. We are now showing our 9-year-olds in our south ring. If you would, please put your hands together as we dismiss that third division of our 13-year-olds in our north ring. At this time, we will be getting our 5 qualifiers from the 3 heats for our 13-year-olds to come in to show for our 1st through 10th 13-year-old division. We are now having our champion 13-year-old drive in our north ring. We want to make that first call for our 10-year-old division. For that first heat of 10-year-olds, Class 1D is on deck in our south ring. You need to be in the holding ring if you're in the first heat of the 10-year-olds, Class 1D. We're going to make that first call for our first heat of 14-year-olds. If you are in Class 1H in the 14-year-old division, you need to be headed to the holding ring and check-in ring. Parents and showmen alike, if you are a champion or reserve, we will have a selection of an overall showman in each age division. In our junior division, that will be from the 6-year-olds to 11-year-olds, and we will pick those champions in that division immediately following the 11-year-old champion division. In our North Ring, in our intermediate division, if you are a champion or reserve from the 12, 13, 14, or 15-year-old divisions, we will pick that overall champion at the conclusion of our 15-year-old division. We currently should have our 10-year-old first heat, Class 1D, in the holding ring at this time. And that is in the South Ring. In our holding ring on the North Ring, we should currently have our 14-year-old first heat, Class 1H, in the holding ring. In the North Ring, we are currently picking our overall 13-year-old champions. In our South Ring, we are currently picking our overall 9-year-old champion showman. For you sheep enthusiasts, if you're interested in a bred ewe or a ewe lamb, we do have the premier bred ewe and ewe lamb sale at 7 p.m. It will be in the north side of the pavilion, and that sale starts at 7 p.m. this evening.
Man, a heater of a division over here, and I'll tell you, going 4th or 5th in this division is not something you should go hang your head about. This is intense. I'll tell you, the young lady up front here, I mean, right from the beginning, she hit the ring. She utilized every square inch of this ring. She had intention. Her pace was perfect every time. And maybe that's different on other sheep, but I thought she had this thing, the way that thing's neck hinged on the go, and the way she walked that thing. Her body positioning, to me, I think there's a little bit of an issue right now with showmanship where we want to get super duper low, and there's value in getting low and getting them to drive, but I think she has like the perfect mix of getting them to drive, but we're not obnoxious on the front of that sheep, and I think she does a great job getting that thing to run uphill. Her hands are perfect, her body's perfect, that sheep's weight distribution is perfect every time. Really good intermediate to go ahead and win this one. Young lady coming next, you know, what really sorted at the end was really just pace on walk. In terms of mechanics on the front of that sheep, managing his head and neck, that's not the most extended sheep in the world. I think she does an amazing job managing that one's head, neck, and front end. And every now and again, she does a great job when she knows he gets to leaning too far and getting him back. And I think her presence and understanding that sheep and being connected to him, I think she does a phenomenal job. She's a straight killer out here to go second. Young man coming third. I'll be honest, it was really, really close right till the end. This one, the way he grips this one's jaw is a little unique, and kind of grabbing that skin right on the bottom side of his jaw. That one's head and neck on the prance really caught my attention initially. And out here on the drive, his body, same deal, does an amazing job. We just got to watch our distance a little bit. When it's down to the end, knowing where you're at, you could have slid up a little bit, and just being aware of where you're at in the ring. But in terms of mechanics, getting that thing to drive, I think do a really, really good job. Young man coming next. The biggest challenge I have, and maybe it's the sheep a little bit, again, mechanics getting this one to drive, understanding his weight when he gets to lean, you managing his head and neck is near perfect. We just got to watch this one's spine every now and again. I don't think it's anything to do with you as a showman, more just how the sheep's built, but just managing his belly and top line just a nickel better, I think would have got you up a little higher. But great job, young man. Young lady coming next. Every now and again, and it's just not my preference, when we get to gripping that one's jaw really tight, like we're almost choking him right there on the bottom side of his jaw, I'd want to flip your hand just a nickel, and I think that'll allow you to manage his neck and top line just a little bit better. Mechanics, where you're at, how you get that sheep to brace and run uphill, I think is as good as any in the class. Really good set of these kids. Let's give them a big round of applause. Tough class.
We are now bringing in heat number 1, class 1H of our 14-year-old division in our north ring. We do need to make our first call for the second heat of 14-year-olds, and that would be class 2H. We're going to make that first call to the holding ring for our second heat of 14-year-olds, class 2H. Our champion in our 13-year-old division goes to Marley Massey. Our reserve goes to Whitney Williams. Third goes to Brock Shear. Fourth goes to Hayes Henderson. Fifth goes to Holly Faye Switzer. Sixth goes to Brinley Rice. Seventh goes to Lindsey Williams. Eighth goes to Avery Mullen. Ninth goes to Jamie Maxon. 10th goes to Audrey Hohenwater. If you are in the 10-year-old division, you do need to be in the holding ring in the south ring. If you are in the 10-year-old division, there is only one class and you need to be in the holding ring at this time. Excuse me, I misread that. If you are in the first heat of 10-year-olds in Class 1D, you need to be in the holding ring. And then we will have a second heat in our 10-year-old division, Class 2D. We are now bringing in our second heat of 14-year-olds into the north ring. We're bringing in our second heat of 14-year-olds in the north ring. And in our south ring, we are now bringing in our first heat, Class 1D of 10-year-olds in our south ring. We'll make that first call for Class 2D 10-year-olds, the second heat of 10-year-olds to the holding ring. We're now bringing in 1D to the ring. Did I say we were on the... Going to make that first call of 14-year-olds in Class 3H to the holding ring in our north arena. Make that first call of 14-year-olds in our north arena, Class 3H. Our results of our 9-year-old division. Our champion goes to Paisley Krangle. Reserve goes to Betsy Youngpeter. Third goes to Paisley Holloway. Fourth goes to Hunter Solzner. Fifth goes to Callie Tennant. Sixth goes to Elizabeth Whipperforth. Seventh goes to Tyson Black. Eighth goes to Maislin Soley. Ninth goes to Raylan Artman. And 10th goes to Nash Johnson. Going to make that final call for the 14-year-old third heat, which is Class 3H. You need to be in the holding ring at this time. We'll make the final call for Class 2D, the second heat of 10-year-olds in the south ring at this time. I guess. If you would, let's put our hands together for the hard work of those 14-year-olds as they are released from the ring. We are now showing our third heat, Class 3H, of our 14-year-old age division. At the conclusion of this class, we will need those 10 showmen that were selected from our first two heats for our overall 14-year-old showmen. So we'll make that first call for those 10 showmen that have been selected from our first two heats in our 14-year-old division to be ringside and ready. If you are a 10-year-old and you are in our second class, Class 2D, you need to be in the holding ring at this time. We need to have that second heat of 10-year-olds in the holding ring at this time. If you would, let's put our hands together for this first 10-year-old division as they are released from the ring. Please show them a big round of applause and appreciation for doing a nice job. In our south ring, we are currently bringing in our second division of 10-year-olds. We are bringing in Class 2D, our second division of 10-year-olds, to the ring at this time. If you would, let's put our hands together and show our appreciation to those young 14-year-old showmen that are leaving the ring at this time. In our south ring, we are getting ready to show for our champion overall 14-year-old showman in our in our north ring. We are now bringing in our overall champion showman for our 14-year-olds in our north ring. We do need to have those 5 10-year-old showmen that were selected out of the first drive of our 10-year-old division ringside and ready, please. You need to be in the holding ring at this time if you are one of those top 5 selected 10-year-old showmen. Please put your hands together for as we dismiss that second division of our 10-year-old class. In our north ring, we are currently showing for our overall 14-year-old showman. If you are in the 15-year-old division and you are in the first heat, which is class 1I, you need to be in the holding ring at this time. If you are in the first heat, class 1I in the 15-year-old division, you need to be in the holding ring at this time. In our south ring, we are currently showing for our overall 10-year-old showman. We're going to make that first call for class 1E, our 11-year-old showmanship first heat. First call for class 1E, our 11-year-old showman first heat. If you are in the first heat of 11-year-olds, Class 1E, you need to be in the holding ring at this time. If you are in the first heat of 15-year-olds, Class 1I, you need to be in the holding ring at this time.
Another really good age division. I think the young lady that leads it off, another one that just comes in and demands your attention. And when she comes to a stop, anywhere she parks that animal, she has she works with that animal with complete authority. She gets him set, she drives him up, he runs uphill. That thing is always on the brace. She's got her fingers up in that one's jawline just like they should be. I think her pace going around the ring and the way she grabs the bottom side of that one's jaw, she does a really, really good job. Young lady coming second, same deal. Mechanics are great. The way she's on the front of that animal is really, really good. We just catch that one wanting to run downhill every now and again, but in terms of leg placement, walking is phenomenal. The way you get that one's head to hinge, we just got to get her to drive uphill on you. Really good spot there in second. Congratulations. Young lady coming next, really close. This one was real close the entire time. Every now and again, we just want to catch that one balling up right in the center of his back, and she did a phenomenal job trying to manage that out of him, but real close, splitting hairs here on the top three. Good job to that young lady. Next one coming next. This one, too, another difficult one to show. He gets a little straight off both ends. I think the young lady does a good job. I just like to see you stand up a little bit on that one and then just grip his jaw, flip your hand just a tickle on the back side of his jaw there to manage him, and especially one built like that where you got to make sure you keep him back. Young lady coming next, phenomenal job. I just thought her pace on the walk was a little too fast. We aren't trying to get it around the ring in record time, but really good job on the front of that one. The way you manage that one's weight and balance is really, really good. Let's give those kids a round of applause. Really good division.
We are now showing heat 1I in the north ring of our first heat of our 15-year-olds. If you are in the second heat of 15-year-olds, you need to be headed toward the holding ring, and that is Class 2I. We'll make that first call for that second heat of 15-year-olds to the north holding ring. Our results of our 14-year-old division. Our champion goes to Hayden Bryant. Our reserve goes to Aria Nair. Third goes to Lillian Walderher. Fourth goes to Adeline Slick. Fifth goes to Addie Dunlap. Sixth goes to Kylie Blevins. Seventh goes to Chloe Alar. Eighth goes to Gentry Baus. Ninth goes to Addie Rohr. And 10th goes to Andrew Helbach. Oh, wait, I guess. For those senior showmen, we will not take a break. When we get going, we will announce where you're going by age division at the first available ring. So the 16-year-olds will be the first division I will be calling for. And we will tell you whether you're going to the north or south ring when we find the first availability. So senior 16-year-olds, you need to be getting ready. You will start immediately following the completion of the first division, whether it be the junior division or intermediate division. We are currently showing our second division of our 15-year-olds in the North Ring. At the conclusion of this heat, we will be picking our champion overall 15-year-old showman. Now entering our South Ring is our first division of 11-year-olds. We are now showing our first heat of 11-year-olds in our South Division. We're going to make that first call for Class 2E, our second division of 11-year-olds. If you are in that second division of 11-year-olds, you need to be headed toward the holding ring. If you are one of the 5 that were selected in our first heat of 15-year-olds, you need to be ringside and ready in our North Ring. Again, we want to put those 16-year-old showmen on alert. We will start the senior division in the first ring that is available. So I am putting you on warning. The first ring that comes available, we will be making that call for that first heat of 16-year-olds in our senior division once the first ring becomes available. In our 10-year-old division, our champion goes to Caston Caldwell. Our reserve champion goes to Jolie Nash. Third goes to Hadley Jones. Fourth, Nathan Workman. Fifth, Miles Birch. Sixth goes to Caston Campbell. Seventh goes to Cassie Warsman. Eighth goes to Macy Beamer. Ninth goes to George Swab. And 10th goes to Henley Bontrigger. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would, let's please put our hands together for all the young 15-year-olds as we dismiss those out of the North Ring and show our appreciation for their hard work. We are now bringing in our 15-year-old champion overall drive for our 15-year-olds in the north ring. I'm going to make that first call for our champion and reserve overall drive in our intermediate division. We will need those lambs ringside and ready at the conclusion of our 15-year-old division. We will need the following contestants back for our overall intermediate showman. In our 12-year-old division, we need Presley Johnson and Adeline Gillett. In our 13-year-old division, we'll need Marley Massey and Whitney Williams. In our 14-year-old division, we will need Hayden Bryant and Aria Nyer. At the conclusion of this class in our north ring, we will be selecting our champion and reserve champion overall intermediate showman. Please have all those champion and reserve showmen ringside and ready at the conclusion of this 15-year-old division. We are currently showing the first heat of 11-year-olds in the south ring. If you are in the second heat, class 2E, you need to be in the holding ring at this time. As we dismiss this first heat of young 11-year-old showmen, please show your appreciation and put your hands together for a great set of young showmen that are leaving the ring at this time. We are now bringing in our second heat. We are now bringing in our second heat of 11-year-old showmen into the south ring at this time. We are now bringing in our second heat of 11-year-old showmen in the south ring at this time. Okay, we have made the decision on the senior showmanship. Our 16-year-old division will show in the north ring, and our 17-year-old division will show in the south ring. So we will show odd to evens. All the even numbers in the senior division will show in our north ring, and all the odd number divisions will show in our south ring. So we're going to make that warning shot to our 16-year-olds in the first heat. You will show in the north ring. And we'll make that first shot, warning shot for our 17-year-olds in that first heat. You will show in the south ring at the conclusion of our champion drives of the junior and intermediate divisions.
told some of these girls as we got in here for the drive that the boys really need to step it up, putting a hurting on them. The young lady that's going to start out, I think, is an absolute killer on the head. She is ultra smooth, like a couple past division winners. The way she gets around the ring and moves and plants that sheep with authority, and she is connected to that thing at all times. And when he moves a leg, she knows exactly that he moved a leg, and her hands are perfect all the time. That sheep's skull and neck and its relativity to her body is always right. That sheep's never overdriven and just does a killer job all the time. Young lady with the white one, same deal. My biggest concern or biggest issue is we just got to work with a little bit more pace. We came around there at the end, and I literally said to myself, obviously you couldn't hear me, was go, so we just got to go a little bit faster, especially as we get down towards the end. And if this were a market lamb show, right, we just got to get with a little bit more pace and understand when to crank it up a little bit. So mechanics, great job, hand, neck, body, phenomenal, great showman. Just work with a little bit more intensity there at the end. Young lady coming third, I don't know if she picked the easiest one to show. I mean, she does a phenomenal job. This guy just wants to invert his tail head, and she's doing the darndest to show it out of him. But we just got to get this one to drive uphill, and I know it's a little challenging just the way he's built. I'd like to see you just move your hands up just a little bit. But great job how you position yourself on the front of that one, get a drive. Maybe the best of everybody in terms of intensity when you get your hands on him. She understands like where the judge is at and coming to her and really getting that thing fired up and handling hard when I get my hands on him. She does a great job, tough division. Young lady coming here next, just like right now. Great job. 94% of the time we got to the end, and this is exactly what happened over here, is we just got him a little overstretched. We got to make sure we're aware where he's at, that he's not getting outside of himself and wanting to sag his back. We just got to be really aware of his proportionality and where he's set and not get him overextended. But again, in terms of body and getting some drive out of that one and getting his nose down and getting your fingers right there in the base of his jaw, I think you do a phenomenal job. Young lady coming here rounding out at the top 5, I think does a really good job. Same deal right at the end. We just caught this one just getting a little out of place and a little lazy. In terms of drive, I really love your body positioning and making that thing get up into you. I love that aggression. We just got to make sure, again, it's inches, right? As we can't get him a little overextended because he just wants to get a little soft and saggy looking. Phenomenal job overall. We just got details here at the end, but great job. Let's give these girls a round of applause. Great job. Step it up, dudes.
In our north ring, we are now picking our intermediate overall champion and reserve champion showman. In our 12-year-old division, our champion is Presley Johnson. Our reserve champion represented in that division is Adeline Gilliott. In our 13-year-old division, our champion is Marley Massey. Our reserve champion in our 13-year-old division went to Whitney Williams. Our champion in our 14-year-old division goes to Hayden Bryant. Our reserve champion is Aria Nyer. In our 15-year-old division, our champion is Hadley Arts. And our reserve champion is Marnie Richards. We are now selecting our champion and reserve champion intermediate showman. Our results from our 15-year-old age division. Our champion is Hadley Arts. Our reserve is Marnie Richards. Third goes to Chloe Nelson. Fourth goes to Lucy Schur. Fifth goes to Jillian Vogelswire. Sixth goes to Macklin Price. Seventh goes to Peyton Cartwright. Eighth goes to Grayson Alley Parks. Ninth goes to Sutton Weston. And 10th goes to Shelby Bays.
Really, really good division out here, and I hope some of you younger kids, if you had a chance to sit ringside and watch, I think there is 8 ladies out here that do an absolute phenomenal job, and the 4 on the front line, I think do a great job doing it at another level, and really. The big things, it's the little things. It's getting around the ring with the right kind of pace. It's utilizing the ring. It's getting that sheep's neck hinged correctly, you know, when you're out on the walk, and that takes a lot of work at home. But I think these young ladies do a really, really good job, and I'm super happy. I'd love to have any of you girls show a sheep for me. So if you would, let's give them a big round of applause. It's been a really good division. I'll go select your champion.
We do need those champions and reserves from our 6 and 7-year-old division, 8-year-old division, 9-year-old division, and 10-year-old division ringside and ready for the conclusion of this drive of our overall 11-year-old champion. We need Brayley Newcomb, Corbin Reppy, Maddox Thompson, Cagney Kraft, Paisley Krangle, Betsy Youngpeter, Caston Caldwell, and Jolie Nash. Ringside and ready for our champion overall, Junior Showman. At this time, we are bringing in our first heat of 16-year-olds, Class 1J, to our north ring. In our north ring, we need to have ringside and ready the second heat of 16-year-olds, Class 2J, ringside and ready in our north ring. In our intermediate division, our champion comes from our 13-year-old division, Marley Massey. Our reserve champion comes from our 14-year-old division, Hayden Bryant. Please have those champions and reserve champion showmen from our 6-year-old or our 10-year-old divisions ringside and ready in our south ring. In our north ring, we need to have our second heat of 16-year-olds ringside and ready, Class 2J. In our senior division, we will show all the even ages in our north ring. In our senior division, we will show all the odd number ages in our south ring. We are missing our 9-year-old champion. That would be Paisley Krangle. We need you in the holding ring at this time, our 9-year-old champion. And I think I just saw her come into the ring. Please have that second heat of 16-year-olds, Class 2J, ringside and ready. Please put your hands together as we dismiss that first class of 16-year-old showmen from the ring, and let's show them our appreciation for the hard work they've done. We're now bringing in our second heat of 16-year-olds, Class 2J, into the north ring at this time. We're going to make that call for our third class of 16-year-old showmen, Class 3J. You need to be ringside and ready in the north ring. Going to make that first call for 16-year-old showmen, Class 3J, ringside and ready in our north ring. At this time in our South ring, we are picking our champion and reserve overall junior showman. In our 6 to 7-year-old division, our champion is represented by Brayley Newcomb. Our reserve champion in our 6 to 7-year-old division is represented by Corbin Reppy. In our 8-year-old division, our champion is represented by Maddox Thompson, and our reserve is represented by Cagney Kraft. In our 9-year-old division, our champion is represented by Paisley Krangle, and our reserve is represented by Betsy Youngpeter. In our 10-year-old division, our champion is represented by Caston Caldwell, and our 10-year-old is represented by Jaylee Nash. In our 11-year-old division, our champion is represented by Macy Zerbach, and our reserve is represented by Brayley Bollinger. We are now selecting our champion and reserve champion overall junior showman. In our 11-year-old division, our results are our champion goes to Macy Zerbach. Our reserve goes to Brindley Bollinger. Third goes to Harper Herman. Fourth goes to Waylon Holly. Fifth goes to Lainey Thomas. Sixth goes to Brooklyn Johnson. Seventh goes to Rowan Ward. Eighth goes to Aubrey Briera. Ninth goes to Harris Barnes. And 10th goes to Savannah Artman. We are now selecting our champion in reserve in our junior division. We are now bringing our third division of 16-year-old showmen to the ring at this time. We're bringing in Class 3J in our 16-year-old division at this time. We need to have that first heat of 17-year-olds in the holding ring in our South ring at this time. If you are in the first heat of 17-year-olds, Class 1K, you need to be in the ring at this time. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to congratulate our champion junior showman goes to Macy Zerbach. And our reserve in our junior division goes to Maddox Thompson out of our 8-year-old division. We are now showing our first heat of 17-year-olds in the South Ring, Class 1K. They are now showing our first heat of 17-year-olds in the South Ring, Class 1K. If you are in the second heat of 17-year-olds, you need to be ringside and in the holding ring at this time. We need those 16-year-olds that were selected in heat 1 and 2 ringside and ready. We will show for our champion overall showman at the conclusion of the third heat of 16-year-olds in the North Ring. Going to make that call for the second class of 17-year-olds in the holding ring in the South Ring. We need those second heat in the holding ring at this time, and that is Class 2K. You need to be in the holding ring in the South Ring at this time. Last call for Class 2K in the 17-year-old heat. You need to be in the holding ring at this time. Class 2K needs to be in the holding ring at this time. If you are in the 16-year-old division and you were one of the selections from heat 1 or 2 in that 16-year-old division, you need to be ringside and ready at this time. If you would, please show your appreciation to that last division of 16-year-olds as they leave the division. We are now selecting our overall 16-year-old showman in our north ring at this time. We are now selecting our overall 16-year-old showman in our north ring at this time. As we dismiss that first class and division of our 17-year-old division, please put your hands together and show your appreciation for those young people's hard work. We are now bringing in our second division of 17-year-olds, Class 2K, are coming into the South Ring at this time. Class 2K are entering the South Ring at this time. We need to have that first class of 18-year-olds for the first heat in our North Ring, Class 1L in the holding ring. First division of our 18-year-olds, Class 1L, need to be in the holding ring in our North Ring. We need to have that third heat of our 17-year-olds in the holding ring at this time. Our third heat, Class 3K in the holding ring at this time. If you are in the first heat of 18-year-olds, you need to be ringside and ready on our North Ring. That is Class 1L in our North Ring. You need to be in the holding area. If you are in the third and last heat as 17-year-olds, you need to be in the south holding ring at this time. And if you are in the 18-year-old first heat, you need to be in the north holding ring at this time.
Another really, really tough division, and once again dominated by the girls, so I applaud you. Young lady that starts out, I think just does a phenomenal job, and I'll tell you the pair here on top is really, really, really close. What really separated at the end for me was a couple personal preferences, and that's it. So you guys can leave here and say, well, that guy don't know what he's talking about, and that's fine. For me, I think a young lady that wins is just, they're both intense. She's a little bit smoother. She's a little bit calmer. When it comes down to it, right, and the intensity level gets jacked up at the end, she gets calmer. She stands still. She's dead set, and she is in that thing, and we aren't moving. Now she is connected to that thing. She knows when it moves, and she's on top of her. Just a killer on the head. Phenomenal job. Young lady here second. Like I said, great job. Couple personal preference things. I just would like to flip your hand, you know, and kind of get a little bit less choke look and flip your hand on that on the bottom side of that one's jaw. But again, if that's the way you show, I don't think it makes a sheep look bad. Just a personal preference thing for me. And like I said at the end, we just got a little jittery. We started hitting a little bit more and got a little overextended. But great job, really, really good job. Really proud of you. Young lady coming third, right there at the end, and he's doing it right now too. We just tends to get a little locked out, especially on the show side rear hawk, and again we need to work with a little bit of pace there towards the end, but with pace with accuracy. But phenomenal job, the way you handle that one's neck and head, and get him to run the right way and show off his neck and the way it attaches. It's always in a perfect 90, and I appreciate that. And your style on the front of that one is really good. I appreciate that. Young lady coming fourth, you know, right at the end there. Phenomenal job, fundamentals, mechanics, really, really good. We just caught this you getting a little lazy at the end. And so it is interesting as you watch these classes work and you watch either the sheep or the showman break down and how do you adjust. And in terms of your ability to show one, that's not in question. You do a great job. We just got to be aware when she wants to start to get a little lazy, how do we wake her up? How do we get her going? She just wanted to kind of drop her belly and drop her spine on you a little bit at the end. Same with the young lady here rounding out the top five in this age group. Great job all day long. This ewe lamb you got to watch. I'm sure you're aware she wants to get a little off right there in her loin. So, I mean, an inch or two in overextending that one really breaks her down in terms of the way her top line comes together. But mechanics, hand placement, body, getting that one to drive and go uphill, really, really good. Let's give those kids a round of applause. Great class.
We are now showing our final heat of 17-year-olds in our south ring, so we do need those young people that were selected from our first two divisions to be ringside and ready. We have concluded and we're showing the first heat of 18-year-olds in our north ring. Our champion in our 16-year-old division is Kobe Scroggins. Our reserve champion goes to Leighton Lawhone. Third goes to Laney Pop. Fourth goes to Carly Macy. Fifth goes to Molly Wilson. Sixth goes to Lucy Casera. Seventh goes to Kinley Dahl. 8th goes to Carson Shaper. 9th goes to Cade Shaper. And 10th goes to Tatum Minley. In our 18-year-old division, we need to have that Class 2L ringside and ready. If you're an 18-year-old and you're in the second heat, you need to be ringside and ready, Class 2L. Hey, don't get on him. He's been buying bread used. Leave him alone. Ted has been essential here to keep me from being from really fumbling around here. I think we ought to call him out on that. I want John to buy me some supper. Heck, even if he takes me to McDonald's, just John. Don't hold my breath. I'll get thin. Yeah, yeah. We're now bringing the second heat of 18-year-olds into the north ring, Class 2L is now coming into the north ring. We will show for our champion overall 18-year-old showman at the conclusion of this heat. We are now showing for our champion overall 17-year-old showman in our south ring. We are now showing for our champion overall 17-year-old showman in our south ring. We're going to make that first call for our 19-year-old division, and there is just one heat of our 19-year-olds. We're going to make that first call for you to come to the south holding ring. First call for our 19-year-old showman to our south holding ring. We are now bringing in the 18-year-old division overall showman to the ring at this time. We are now showing for overall champion 18-year-old division in the north ring at this time. Going to make that first call for our 20-year-old plus class. They will show at the conclusion of our champion 18-year-old drive. We should have all our 19-year-old showmen in the south holding ring, and you will show at the conclusion of our overall 17-year-old drive. Going to make that final call for that 20-year-old class on the north ring. You need to be ringside and ready if you are in the 20-year-old division. If you are in the 19-year-old division, we're making the final call for you in the south ring. You need to be ringside and ready. You want me to announce it?
Really good set over here again, and I think the young lady that wins it, for me, as the class continued to go on, from start to finish, she was the most consistent. The way she's on the front of that one and keeps his weight back, and the way she's got her fingers and knuckles drove up into that one's jaw, managing his neck and head, I think is incredibly good. But she did it the best for the longest. Just steadfast, and just can't compliment you enough that there was just never a bad look at that sheep, and that is showmanship. So great job to you. Young lady coming second. Every now and then we just caught this one wanting to rock forward just a tick, and he wants to get a little wrecked off of his rear too. And I know you're aware of that. You do an awesome job showing that out of him. But just having that consistency and not letting those few bad looks. And again, we're splitting hairs, but phenomenal job and great job trying to show the flaws out of him. I think you did a great job. Just a few minor misses there. Young lady here coming in third, honestly, just kind of kept working her way up. really consistent. The biggest thing for you, I just caught the leg placement a little bit more out of place than the others, but very, very minor. Again, we're talking inch, half inch, but of the top trio, we caught his legs a little bit out of whack more often than the top two. But great job getting that one to run uphill and being really intentional with your hands around his skull and jawline. Young lady here coming fourth, really consistent job too. Right at the end, you know, we kind of got down in the front and you didn't get around the front. I'm not a guy to try to play too many games or get weird and play ring around the rosy, but pretty simple movement there. We just missed that one, getting off the front, showing his front end. But really good job overall, body positioning, technique, very, very good. Young man coming next, you know, at the beginning, I'd say he was probably the one to win it. You know, and the biggest thing here is this sheep wants to get a little straight, right? None of them are perfect, and so as showmen, right, it's our job to try to show out these flaws. And I just thought as this sheep kind of broke down, we just lost a little bit of intensity because we got to keep that one rocked back and keep his hock locked in. But again, mechanics, handwork around his jawline and your body, you do a great job. We just got to be really aware of that one's hind leg and staying on him the entire way through. But great job, young man. Let's give this drive a big round of applause. Good group of kids, really talented. Thanks.
We are now showing for our champion overall 19-year-old showman in our south ring, and we are getting ready to enter our champion overall 20-plus showman in our north ring. Our placings in our 17-year-old division. Zane Downey is our champion, 17-year-old showman. Our reserve champion showman goes to Landry Lane. Third goes to Jaden Herzog. Fourth goes to Dawson Staley. Fifth goes to Caden Dare. Sixth goes to Abby Snyder. Seventh goes to Mason Quinn. Eighth goes to Adeline Bryant. Ninth goes to Grace Moore. And 10th goes to Addison Thompson. In our 18-year-old division, our champion goes to Sydney Brader. Our reserve champion goes to Allison Van Nerden. Third goes to Lillian Burgett. Fourth goes to Jalen Clement. Fifth goes to Wyatt Nixon. Sixth goes to Hannah Hayes Ware. Seventh goes to Haley Lazanier. Eighth goes to Mara Swars. Ninth goes to Danny Wares. And 10th goes to Cale Anderson. We will need those champions and reserves for our overall showman at the conclusion of these two classes. So I will make that first call for Kobe Scroggins, Leighton Lawhone, Zane Downey, Landry Lane, Sydney Brader, Allison Van Nerden. You need to be ringside and ready, and we'll bring those to the south holding ring. Please bring all those senior champions to the south holding ring when we get ready for our Supreme Drive. We are waiting for our champion and reserve champion 16-year-olds in the holding ring. We need Kobe Scroggins and Leighton Lawhone to the holding ring. We need those champion and reserves from our 16-year-old division. In our 19-year-old division, our champion goes to Paige Christensen. Reserve goes to Emily Schillingberg. Third goes to Branson Belleville. Fourth goes to Emma Kurtzwell. Fifth goes to Marissa Patterson. Sixth goes to Linza Swaggart. Seventh goes to Braylon Collar. Eighth goes to Caitlin McMillan. Ninth goes to Jared France. And 10th goes to Isabella Lazar.
Another really good set over here. My apologies to the showman for confusing them. That was absolutely on me. First class of the day, we decided to do in reverse, so 100% on me. But really good top end here. I think the young lady that we're going to use to start just does a really smooth job, and it was splitting hairs because I think the young lady in second probably does a nickel better job just getting this thing drove up more often, but I think that's more of a difference of the sheep than the showman. Very close. I just preferred the way you gripped that one's ear and jaw line the entire time, and the way you got it worked around that thing. So as we reset at times, you were really consistent, and where your body met the front of that one. And I thought we just got a lot out of that. That little ewe lamb did a really good job. Young lady did an awesome job. Like I said, it just kind of came down to the end where we just got a little bit fidgety, and it was just really her smoothness that got her over you. But I'd say of the top five, you probably do the best job getting that one to go uphill into you, and just managing that one's hind leg and making sure we get especially this show side back leg back just a hair. I mean, very small things. Phenomenal job, though. Your technique on the front of that one and where your pressure points are and how you manage her head is incredible, and you do a great job. So small things. It's Louisville, tough division. Great job. The young lady coming third, for me, again, for me it's just a preference. I just like to flip her hand a little bit. Maybe just get your body off to the side of her more so you can kind of grip and with your hand and get your arm over the top of her head just a tick. But every now and again, we kind of had that choking look where we had a lot of pressure on that one's actual throat and relative to the bottom side of her jaw. But little things. I mean, young lady does a great job. The way she gets down and drives with her hips and gets that one going. We just need to be more consistent about her so we can keep her spine in her the entire time. But big picture, really good job, phenomenal showman. Really proud of you. One coming fourth, another one. This sheep is built for showmanship. She drops her hip and locks in her hind leg and runs uphill, and the young lady clearly understands this animal, and when she gets this one locked in on the side, she just did it there. She knows exactly where that one, she needs to touch that one to just drive her spine down ever so slightly. Big thing was we just got to watch her every now and again because she does do such a good job driving. We just got to manage her weight distribution and make sure we keep her back. So minor things, great showman, technique's perfect, do a great job. Young man coming next, great job out of him. Again, preferences. The way he shows this animal, he does a great job. The way he grips that one's chin and does that little thing right there, I think at times that just allowed that one's head to come forward and just got a little lazy. And so I just really want to just stay engaged with your lower body. And like I said, just a preference thing on the hands. I'd like to see a lock in with your ring finger right on the bottom side of that one's jaw. But young man does a great job. Let's give that class a round of applause. Another really good showmanship class here at Louisville.
If you have a lamb in pin 72, you need to go back and attend to that sheep. If you have a lamb in pin 72, you need to go back and attend to that sheep. Our results of our class, our age division 20 and 21-year-old division, our champion goes to Grace McCurdy. Our reserve champion goes to Emma Haig. Third goes to Katie Walkington. Fourth goes to Frankie Travis. Fifth goes to Seth Aarons. Sixth goes to Eli Vincent. Seventh goes to Anna Reed. Eighth goes to Channing LaRue. Ninth goes to Maggie Sue Spencer. And 10th goes to Lauren Fry. We need to have all those champions and reserves from our senior division in the South Holding Ring, and we will shortly be showing for our Supreme Champion overall senior showman. At this time, we're going to bring our champions and reserves in for our senior division. In our 16-year-old division, our champion is represented by Kobe Scroggins. Our reserve champion is represented by Linton Lahone. In our 17-year-old division, our champion is Zane Downey. Our reserve champion is represented by Landry Lane. In our 18-year-old division, our champion is Sydney Brader. Our reserve is represented by Allison Van Nerden. In our 19-year-old division, our champion is Paige Christensen. In our 19-year-old division, our reserve is Emily Schillingberg. And in our 20-year-old division, our champion is represented by Grace McCurdy, and our reserve is represented by Emma Haig. We are now selecting our champion and reserve champion, senior showman.
Anybody that knows me knows I like to be right. I spend a significant amount of time thinking I'm right. But I also think getting to judge with somebody else is really fun. And I had an opportunity a couple years ago to judge a decent-sized show with one of my very best friends in the world, and it was a blast. Only got to spend a few minutes with him. It's been awfully fun for the brief bit of time that we're together. The reason that I get to talk on the microphone right now is he told me that the young man that wins this was my showman out of my division, so we're going to go ahead and congratulate him and tell him good job. She's yours. You get to talk her.
I was telling Greg when we came up here for the drive, he had me laughing pretty good today. He said a couple funnies about some constipation looks, and I couldn't agree with him more. I think at times, I love intensity and I love wanting to win, and then there's just kind of overdoing it and looking a little scary, and it gets a little weird out here sometimes. So I appreciated Greg bringing that up, and I tell you guys, enjoy this. We don't have to be angry all the time as we show these sheep, but like I told Greg, there isn't a bad showman out here, and I'm just really proud of all of you guys and phenomenal showmen. I'd love to have you on ahead of any of our sheep anytime. So congratulations to all of you. I'll go select a reserve.
Our champion senior showman comes out of our 17-year-old division, Zane Downey. Our reserve champion senior showman comes out of our 20-year-old division and goes to Grace McCurdy. We do want to thank our judges this evening, Greg A. Hart from Sacramento, California, and Nick Enfield from Maxwell, Iowa. Thank you to everyone. Have a good evening, and we will look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning, bright and early at 8 a.m. for our Market Lamb show here at this ring.